might give up. Ibn Masud, the greatest teacher of the Quran, named first by Muhammad, if you're going to learn the Quran, disagreed that chapter 1 of the Quran should be a part of the Quran. He did not include it. For those of you who don't know, chapter 1 of the Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha, is kind of called the keystone for the Quran. 7 verses, and it's understood to be basically an introduction to the entire Quran. When you read the Salat, or when the Salat is read by Muslims, the 5 daily prayers, they read Surah Fatiha first. They read the Fatiha first, and then they'll read a portion of the Quran. So liturgically speaking, you introduce the Quran, even in Salat, with Fatiha. Ibn Masud didn't consider that introduction to actually be part of the Quran.
If you're going to debate someone and they've provided you with information, you might want to, take a look at what they've provided to you.
He was trying to shock everyone here, saying Ibn Masud only believed, he didn't believe that Surah Al-Fatiha was from the Quran. About Surah 1, first of all, none of the narrations that I looked at state that Ibn Masud did not consider Surah 1 to be part of the Quran. The narrations only state that he did not have them written down in his codex. Secondly, it is impossible to believe that Ibn Masud did not believe that Surah 1 was part of the Quran when it is compulsory for every Muslim to recite it as a first surah in his prayer. Furthermore, there's a narration where someone asked Ibn Masud why he didn't include Surah 1 in his manuscript. He replied back and said if he were to do so, then he would have to write it in front of every surah. So here it seems that Ibn Masud didn't write it out of convenience in order to avoid writing it over 100 times. He probably felt that he needed to write it before every surah since it is recited before a surah in prayer.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise be to God, Lord of all the worlds. So it's people praising God and asking Him for personal guidance. So Ibn Masud says, yes, this is divinely inspired, but it's a prayer that God sent. It's not supposed to be part of the Quran.
About Surah 1, first of all, None of the narrations that I looked at state that Ibn Masud did not consider Surah 1 to be part of the Quran.
It goes against your argument. Ibn Masud, we have authentic chains of narration from Ibn Masud going back to him, coming to us today via continuous bombardment of reports, uninterrupted reports. And Ibn Masud's recitation transmitted by his students is exactly what we read today. Guess what? It's exactly what we read today.
Fourthly, even if, let's assume for the sake of argument, to make Nabeel happy, even if Ibn Masud denied Surah 1, his opinions to be rejected. Since Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "La salata illa bi qira'ati al-Fatiha al-Kitab," which means there is no prayer except with a recitation of the opening chapter of the book, which is Surah 1. And he is obviously a much higher authority than Ibn Masud.
Give up, give up, give up.